So let's go ahead and get started. So this line numbers problem was fixed, and let's just, do I not have it? Let's switch over to this one. I'm just gonna start up the server and the website, and I'll show you guys the problem we were experiencing. Hey, Plotaris. Interesting, that took a little bit to build. So let's do Lerna. Ben, what are your plans with the Saffron app? I have a lot of different plans. I can talk more about that at the end if you want, but there's a lot of different stuff I want to do with it. Currently just developing it on the side as I do other stuff, but oh yes, I was like, whoa, it works. So this is a change that I just like tried to see if it worked, and it was based on the PR that we got. You love me? I guess that's good. So what change did I make? I thought there was something I changed up here. Alright, so I just called highlight all. Oh, that's it. Okay. So what we were missing yesterday is this. We weren't importing. So we were importing the plugin, we were importing the themes, we were importing Prism. What we weren't importing is the language. So I'll talk about what this import is down here in a second. First, this is how we can get it working. Will you marry me? I will not. So prism.typescript. So here I'm loading in the Prism language for TypeScript. So now we're going to get TypeScript types for Prism, and you'll notice here we have JSON data, so we should be loading JSON. Let me just kill that. And it seems to be working funky with next. Alright, so now we get this nice highlighting. I'm not sure why it's doing everything on multiple lines. Okay, it's because we're doing that. I'm just going to say code here. You're just messing with me? Yeah, I figured. We'll reload. And voila. So now everything works. So that was really the thing that we were missing. And now the PR, what it talks about is using the Babel plugin, which I like. And basically we can pick the languages that we're loading in. Here's the thing that makes this project kind of interesting, is we're going to need every single language. Yeah, I agree. I really like the community. You guys are really nice. It's very rare too. But here, so we have 156 languages that we need to support. Well, we don't need to support, but possibly that people could use. And so the problem with that is, do we load all of them at once, as in our main Babel plugin? Like what we could do is add to the Babel plugin all the languages. Now one thing that I don't like about that is 90% of these languages will never be used. I have no idea what this is. And I have no idea what this is or this, and probably half of these languages. And so for that reason, I don't know if I want to load them all in. So that's what I was experimenting with up here, and this is lazy loading the languages. So instead of having the import up here, putting the import in the use effect, or the component will mount. So basically what I'm doing here is I am importing, and you'll notice I'm importing different languages, and I'm using the extension here. Now I'm doing a ternary. You could get rid of this for now. We could just put the extension here, and then after we've loaded the language, we have to call prism.highlightAll to highlight all the text. So we'll reload. Yeah, we might switch out. I haven't decided what theme I want to go with for this. I currently just have this theme going, but as you can see, works just the same. It's not going to like it if I go into TypeScript. Reason for that is you'll see it tried to load Prism-TS, and that's not a language. Well, it is a language, so I did a little check here. It should be TypeScript, not TS. Anyway, and you can see it now. It now loads it. So what this will allow us to do is now we can kind of lazy load the languages as we do it. Now, one problem we're going to have with this lazy loading thing is there's going to be extensions that don't map to how the components are loaded here. So for example, the extension is TS, or the extension is TSX. It should load TypeScript, and I actually don't know if they differentiate TSX. Yeah, they do. React TSX. So I'm not even sure what that will map to. I think Prism has a plugin to convert the file's extensions to languages. Perfect. We need exactly that. Because I'm just curious if we do an ls on Prism here. Node modules, prism.js, and I think it may be in the root directory. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so here are all the languages, and I bet in here there's going to be some JSX. So Prism, JSX, oops, and is there TSX? Yeah, so both of those we're going to need to load as well for TypeScript and JSX. Alright, let's see if we can find that plugin you're talking about, because we would need that. That would be very helpful. Aren't there alternatives to Prism? There probably is. I actually didn't even look for other solutions. That might have been a good thing to do. I just have heard a lot of people use Prism, and I thought, all right, let's use that. And it looked like good without me ever using it before. It looked like it was the thing we wanted. Missing grammars and load them. You can also click on go and take a multiple order from there. What does it mean by grammars? Yeah, their website is kind of weird. I don't really care for this whole header, to be honest. Okay, this was just downloading to my computer. Don't really care about this. Did you consider the Monaco editor, which is powering VS Code and lots of other stuff? So with this, I don't actually want to make an editor. I actually only want this I just want this to be text. Like, I want to copy basically GitHub in this respect, where like this is not actually an editor. You can just see it. Like, we're not going to get into the part where I can actually like click on a file, click the pencil, and then I have access to type it. I never want to, or right now I have no plans to support the behavior to allowing you to edit files. So for that reason, I didn't go with like Monaco or any of the other ones. So I think, I'm not sure what autoloader is or if that's the one we want. The setting will automatically handle missing grammars and load them for you. To this, you need to provide it with the directory of all the grammars you want. You can download all of it by clicking on the here. Alright, so we downloaded components. Alright, so this is all the languages that I just downloaded with the grammar. Alright, we already have that on our computer anyway. So by default, the plugin will look for missing grammars in the components folder. If your components are in a different location, you specify the language's path. Like, I don't think this is exactly what we want. But I don't know if I want to make my own autoloader. Let's see the other ones if there's anything similar that I want to look at the plugins for. I'm curious what this command line one is. Oh. We don't care about that. I think the autoloader plugin is where it is. I just have to see how this would work. Like, it looks like how this one works is it will download the grammar to a directory, which I don't know if that helps us. All right, so let's just play around with it and see if we can get it to work. Worst case scenario, we just load all the languages. All right, so these are all our plugins. All right, so autoloader just has a JS file and not a CSS counterpart. So that's all we have to load. All right, so I'm just gonna remove the whole import that we're doing dynamically. Check how much the size would be altogether. It would be almost 300 kilobytes. It actually like just froze to my computer doing that. Okay. Server didn't crash. Let's reload this. Class name did not match. Server, that's fine. It tried to download this, but it could not find it. Oh, you know what? I think this may be a Next.js thing. See if it mentions anything in the README. It doesn't. I'm just gonna look at the source code real quick and see if maybe we can do something similar. All right, this is the map. This is a very weird map. Dependency map is built automatically with gulp. So they're mapping JavaScript to C-like, ActionScript to JavaScript. I don't even know what that does. All right, so we basically need a map like this. So what I'm trying to look for right now is if I can see the place where this actually downloads. All right, load language is the function called. I'm trying to see if there's load language and just load languages. Looks like it's just load languages. Note there's load language inside of it. All right, so where are they calling this function? Right here. And they're passing in deps. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're gonna just do some console logging inside of that. So I'm curious what the value of deps is here. Oh, we just auto-formatted that all nicely. Because I think we can make our own version. I don't think we need this plugin. So I kind of was expecting to see a console log there, and I think the reason why we didn't get one is because it needs to repack the node modules. All right, so deps is actually an empty array. It's kind of odd. Yeah, we don't actually have that. I'm curious what they use this for. It's actually all the way down here. You have an example of the use of load language in the Prism site. Is there a plugin to get hard reload on Google Chrome? Maybe actually. We can use require if necessary. Oh, so you're saying in their example here they have something? Prism source, the Prism source highlighted with Prism. Don't you just love meta like this? nice. Utility will solve and handle any required dependencies. Yes. So we basically are going to we basically want to implement our own load languages. Okay, so they pass in an array called Haml. And this is load language. So load languages, it's going to check if it's a string, it makes an array, and it loops through each time, and it just calls load language. That's fine. Is that a plugin? Below there's an example that I use with Node. Oh, this is their Node example. I think we just want to reverse engineer. Yeah, see, we're using Webpack. Maybe we need to use the Babel plugin somehow. We'll see. You still in Texas? I am. Austin. How's the consultancy scene in Texas? I'm from here but haven't done any consultancy. I actually haven't done any consultancy like local to Austin or Texas, so I can't really say how that particular scene is. Alright, so they're defining a function right here, and then they're getting the dependencies. Oh, so they actually just load the dependencies for the language as well as loading it, maybe? Okay, now I think I understand this a little bit more. So it looks like if I want to load this language, I should also load the markup language and the C# language. Yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like if I want to load TypeScript, JavaScript, or TSX, I want to load JSX and TypeScript. Okay, so we need to use this map as well for when we're loading the languages, because we're going to have to load more than just one. All right, now let's look at load. So what is lang data? Okay, so lang data is empty. So they must be adding it somewhere. All right, so they check if it's a Prism language. And then they call get language path. What is get language path? So basically the only thing that we're missing here is how do we handle the case where the file extension is different than the name of the language? Actually, I don't think it tries to handle it. It tried to load prism-ts here. when it really should be trying to load prism.typescript. So what I want to see here is yeah, there's not a prism-ts in here, just TypeScript. You can add a map to map the extensions. Yeah, maybe we're better off creating that ourselves. I just would have thought Prism would have handled that for us, which is very odd that they don't. And it looks like their autoloader may not work for this case. Like the autoloader is trying to load .ts, which is not right. Luckily for us, I don't think it's going to be too different. So one thing we're missing is the dependencies part. We're going to have to load the dependencies so we can use their dependency map. Here's one thing I'm confused about. So let's say I type in .md. I'm pretty sure this won't work for .md. Yeah, that's not going to work too. So really what we need is we need to map like even if I load the correct thing up here, so I load Markdown up here, I don't think this is going to highlight correctly. Yeah. And the reason for that is I'm saying the language is -md when the language should be Markdown. So what we also need to create is a mapping from file extension to the Prism language. And that's currently what we don't have. So that's what we're missing. And that will solve all our problems. Can you just copy their file and edit to add the missing extensions? The problem with this is it's missing almost everything. Like, okay, so their map that they have here, this is not a map from language to file extension. This is for dependencies. What we need is, I have the extension .py and I need to map it to Python. Right, so that's missing. Like .jsx maps to JSX. That is a one-to-one mapping. But other ones are missing. So let's see if there's some kind of like plugin for it maybe. Just change Python to py. Yes, we need to do that. But the idea is doing that for every single one of the language listed here is we're going to have to make a giant list. So I want to see if I can find someone who's already compiled this giant list. Perfect. This is exactly what we need. You don't need to specify the language. It's automatically determined based on the file extension. If, however, the language cannot be determined, you may specify language as well. That's totally fine with us. This is exactly what we want. Nice. All right, so they actually fetch. So we're actually gonna just like copy this and write our own version of it because they have extra stuff we don't care about. Yeah, I'm from Texas, not New York. Okay, I don't think we need this part down here, so we can just totally delete it. Yeah, it's 6:30 p.m. for me right now. Oh dang, it's late for you guys. Okay, so we're just like carving away at this. We don't need this whole bit that fetches the language. I don't think. Now we just need to figure out what this bit of code does. I think I'm going to work backward here. So here it looks like they're setting the class name. Here's looks like the language that they figured out the value to be. So I'm going to say return language. I think they're looking for the language in the tag. So my analysis is we don't need this part. We'll comment it out for now. And then for us, it's going to be from up here. So this is going to be the file name, which is a string. This should really be called file name to language. And this looks wrong to me. Like, I only see a couple languages that they have in this extensions part. I'm not exactly sure what this regular expression does. I'm guessing this regular expression just gets the extension and then checks it. I'm going to make this a lowercase e. I'm not sure why that was uppercase. Possibly undefined. So what should we do if we can't find a extension? I guess do an empty string. I mean, let's try this, but this looks like it's grossly missing things. Like, I'll tell you right now, it does not have Markdown. Get the string empty from symbols. That's what they do. What do you mean by get the string empty from symbols? What do you mean by that? We're still going to need this dependency map too. I guess I'll just keep that there for now, and then I'll decide where I want to copy this over. Alright, so this is going to be path file name to language. Oh, you're saying they remove any symbols with the regular expression. I'm not really worried about symbols. I don't think. I think it's just an example. The map must be, yeah, because it's still missing Markdown. Most large code samples are actually files fetched with this plugin. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. They actually download the file and stuff at some point, which we don't care about. This seems to be like a common problem. Maybe you should keep it to end because right now you can load them all. Yeah. You may be right. I kind of want to do a quick search and see if there's a better syntax highlighter that we can use or an easier one. And if there's not the case, for now we can load it all, but I actually just don't think that's like an acceptable size to have someone download all that. It's not that the algorithm is hard, it's that there's 156 languages, and so we're gonna have to go through each one, figure out what the file extension is. And it's not worth doing that. This is basically what we want. Maybe there's a better way to say this. I think most people must use Prism knowing the language that they want. What is JSON P? Oh. How does Getup handle this? I'm not sure. That's the other thing. If I switch the thing that I use, Prism kind of has everything that I want to. Yeah, they may be using something else. This is kind of what we need, automatic language detection. This is an interesting theme. I would like to see how to use this, yes. Alright, so you load it. This will find highlight code inside of pre and code tags. It tries to detect the language automatically. If the automatic change doesn't work, specify language. I don't want automatic detection, but I'd like to give you the file name. Like, I don't need it to check based on syntax. That's fine. That's kind of cool. We can put in a web worker. So I actually don't know if this does what I want either. And yeah, we don't really want it to try doing that. We have the knowledge of what the extension is. Yeah, see, this guy's trying to map it himself, but like we don't want to do that either. Oh, he's doing custom colors too. Okay, so this is a GitHub issue from 2013. Okay, nice. This guy made a mapping. Now he's using highlight.js. I wonder if this would work for Prism. Let's just scroll down to the end of the issue and see. Someone referenced this in September. I'm fine using this mapping. C++ maps to CPP. This should do, yeah, I was going to say this should handle Markdown fine for us. All right, so let's go back. This is a JSON file. Okay, check this out. Not updated in a while though. So at some point I've been to this URL. I can't remember when I've been here before though. Okay, so we'll see if this mapping works well with Prism. If not, we can give this component a try. The other awkward thing that we have to do here is in this import, we have to grab all the dependencies. And so I'm trying to decide how I want to do this because we kind of have to, like, I guess, loop through it and then call import on each one. Here we're going to say loadlanguage.ts. Other thing I'm going to do here is I can move the extensions outside of creating this. That way we don't create the extensions every loop. I think you should reanalyze the predisposed condition of Prism text and reorganize it in such a way that you can chronologically loop through the following statements. Which of the following statements are you referring to? This is recursive, guys. I just realized that, like, if we load CPP, we have to load C. If we want to load, yeah, okay, look at this. This is actually recursive. So if we want to load C++, it's a dependency on C, so we have to load C. But C is a dependency on C-like, so we also have to install C-like. And doesn't look like C-like has anything else. Yikes. Oh, here, let's start the recursion. This is quickly becoming a mess. I feel like this is something we could probably find an easier solution to. Just manually make a quick map of 10 languages. Yeah. You know, I actually am a big fan of recursion. Yeah, I mean, I could just like not solve this problem for all languages. This will at least get us like 90% of the way there, I guess. I mean, let's just finish this. We're basically done with this part, and then we'll stop working on it. Alright, so here we're just going to check if it even has a dependency. In this case, we just need to check if it's in the map. So this is actually going to be very easy recursion, guys. So we're just going to check if it's in it. So we're going to say language in lang dependency map. Here we need to check the type to see if it's an array or not. And if this is not, all we have to do is call import. Let's make this asynchronous. So here we're just going to copy the path that we have over here. So here we just want to load the dependencies. So we're going to say lang, I guess here we can say lang dep map. We have to make this a key string. It's complaining about us. Whoever decided to use in for objects and of for arrays should never contribute to JS. You've been working on a lightweight, zero dependency, and simple image editor in JavaScript. Alright, so if this is a string, we're just going to await loading the dependency. Otherwise, this is an array, and we have to loop through it. And we're just going to wait for all. So we're going to say deps.map load language. Okay, I think we're done with our recursive load language function. Also, I call this extension. It should be language here. I don't think we're using the Prism React renderer anymore. All right, let's give this a go. The JSON looks good. Get ignore. Haha, look at that. We tried to import a module named get ignore. We're gonna catch if we can't load the language and just forget it. We should really like add Sentry and then track all the languages that can't be loaded. So it's showing the error here anyway, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. I think we just leave it there. So it's not even showing up here. I think it's straight crashing. Oh. We still need to call highlight all if it can't load the language either way. There we go. Do you have a checklist of stuff to put in a production app? I don't. I've been meaning to make a list for that though. So we don't need autoloader anymore. We don't need to have Markdown at the top. We're now gonna just like lazy load the languages. Yeah, I use Sentry for Saffron and I like it a lot. I think we're gonna call this done for now. And just as I say that, this does not work. What the heck? Okay, this is a dependency map. File name to language. I was like, why would it map TypeScript to JavaScript? All right, we just are not mapping TypeScript. All right, we've added a mapping to TypeScript now. Looks good. And I guess we can just like add stuff as we have a problem. The other thing I want to kind of check is if this loads, like the recursive loading of dependencies works. So I would do that by getting a, guys, what's a project on GitHub that uses C code? Maybe explore. And what language, which printf is what they use in C. All right, find me a piece of C code. All right, we found it, guys. We should make it so that I can just copy this URL directly. Right now it does not work if I copy this directly. Oops. We don't need the blob. Ooh, Ethereum uses C. Okay, I mean, this looks like it's correctly syntax highlighting stuff. It's a pretty long file. Cool, cool, cool. Aw, doesn't have makefile. Haha, it does have makefile. But makefile doesn't have an extension. Did not match the server. Language C. That warning I think we've gotten before and we don't care about. Okay, so this makefile thing, we need to import the syntax for makefile. Let's first see what we get as the extension. File name to language. We keep getting that that particular warning has to do with server-side rendering. I kind of have a gist of why it could be doing that, but I don't care about it right now. Oh, I was going to check the logs. I forgot what I was doing. All right. So we just return the file name. We'll just return the file name if we can't find it. Would you work for a company that made you pair program all day, every day? Probably not. It's too much. Oh, you know what? It's a capital M. Is that gonna cause a problem? I feel like it didn't load it because we had a capital M there. No, it's just not loading. File name dot to lowercase. I think you're very right. I was just trying to think in my head if there's any reason not to do this, but I think we should. Beautiful. All right, YAML files. Dang it, YAML didn't work either. We should at least get the, wait, they just don't have YAML? Okay, I was gonna say, how can you not support YAML? Cool. Header files. Dang it, not header files either. I think we should map header to C, maybe. A header file can also be C++ though. Okay, so dot HPP and H. So let's say if they do HH, let's have HH map to, oh, they do. They have HH mapping to C++, but they don't have HPP mapping. HPP will map to C++. and H will map to C. And other languages here. HPP. Oh, this is just a massive file. That's why it's, so there's no highlighting. I think it's just still running. Yeah, I think it just crashed it maybe. Yeah, look how long that took to load in. Let's compare this with how long it takes GitHub's. Print C. How did I get here? Printf master test. Okay, GitHub has a decent load time on this as well. I think theirs was definitely faster than ours, but I'm willing to live with that. Oh, I reopened it again. Let's go to C++. All right, C++ loads. All right, I'm willing to call this good for now. All right. Yeah, they made the highlight happen before rendering, and I think that's what's happening with us. I have not tried view. So what's happening with us with this warning is because I think we're not highlighting server side, or we're not highlighting in the init static. What do they call it? I think we're doing it in the pages repo. We're not calling it in the get initial props. I'm fine with doing it this way for now, and then maybe we can come optimize it in some way. I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this highlight piece. I think we're done using it for now. Alrighty. So I'm gonna call line numbers good, and I'm not gonna use the Babel plugin for now, so I'm going to just close this PR. And then we may come back to a point where we need to grab the pull request. Optimization should be left for the end. Yeah, I agree with that. Unless the optimization is kind of crucial. For example, I believe like the data loader optimization that we added is kind of crucial. Alright, so we're going to lazy load languages. Alright, so next we're going to try some more stuff with Prism. Yikes. I wonder if there's a syntax highlighting that's like native to React, or that was built with React in mind. All of these seem to be written with just JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript. Alright, so line highlight, this is where we can highlight 1 through 5 and so on. Oh, this is kind of cool. Alright, so the plugin we're going to be adding line highlight. And let's see if there's a CSS counterpart to it. Calculating. It'll tell us if it can't render it, I think. And I'm good to go back to Code Ponder. And that's because we actually have stuff highlighted. I mean, not highlighted, but we have code where we have line numbers we want to highlight. I want it to show me the HTML. All right, let's just read through how to use. All right, the data line attribute on the pre-element. All right, let's just try a single one. So we're gonna say data line 5, so like that. Oh, it's not a class name. Hey, Happy. I'm glad you're liking the coding. Hey, we got it highlighted there. It's extremely faint. How do you test this kind of code? It's going to be really hard to look at that in Twitch chat. I would recommend adding that as like a gist or something and linking it. All right, so this is how we can do multiple lines, and this is exactly what we want. Hey, oh man. 1 through 5. Now we don't have a little badge. There's a little badge like that. I don't see any reason why ours shouldn't have this little badge. I'm not like too sad that we're missing the badge because we have the line numbers on the side, and I think that's pretty much what it's trying to represent. If I look at our mock-up, I think we had it numbered though. That way you could link them together. You have no idea what you're doing. I'm just listening to you. So right now what we're doing is, okay, so he has a little number right here. All right, ours is looking kind of similar. What we're doing right now is we have some source code and we're trying to highlight it. So I'd like to highlight it between lines 1 and 5. And really I'd like to highlight it on whatever the user types in here. So we're currently fetching the code review questions down here. We're gonna have to actually fetch them higher up. That way I can get the lines. Alright, wasn't sure when I moved that higher order component, or render prop I mean, if I was going to be able to get the right brackets. Looks like we did. Alright, let's see if we didn't break anything. Still loads. The reason why I did that is now what I can do is I can display it here. Alright, so if we have a length, we can loop through. Otherwise, we're going to do an empty string there. So we actually don't want to loop. Alright, we're going to do this instead. I'm just going to create a variable. So we want to loop, but I was thinking of like using reduce, but I think it'll be simpler just to do a for loop. Alright, I've decided what I want now. So I'm going to map through the questions. And we're just going to return the starting line number dash the ending line number. Copy and paste in Code Ponder, and on the way give me an idea of how to deal with that. Ending line number. Actually, we don't have what's it called? We don't have gists, and that reminds me, we don't have gist in Code Ponder yet. We can try doing that. But yeah, I'll plug in your repo and we can see what your code looks like. Alright, so the whole thing is covered, and I don't know what's going on. Do you work from home? I do. Yeah, I know it's not a gist. We're gonna go check it out. It just reminded me when we were posting the code that we haven't done gists yet. Alright, visible part.ts. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I do believe that Code Ponder should be applied through a viable within a discrete function that will interpret the remaining code into a final and comprehensive loop. That's an interesting way to put it. What the heck just happened? So as soon as I put my cursor in here, it just reloaded. Why not Prisma? It generates all the schema. Currently, I just want to test out type GraphQL for this. Alright. Click on visible. It loads. Okay, I don't know why this didn't load the first time. I don't really have much to say about that. Okay, so let's try line number. You need to test this code. Let's try line 5 through 10. Cannot return null for code review question applies. Ooh. I think we have actually a problem with our generic mutation. All right, so when we're loading this page, we're getting this error. But I have no idea why. Cannot return non-nullable field replies. All right, well, let's see why we're returning null. Did I miss the exclamation point? So we added it so it's null. It's not, so okay, we're having a problem with it when creating and when fetching. We messed something up at some point. So what I think is happening is if we don't have any replies, it's rendering null here when it really should just be rendering an empty array. So I'm going to put that there. I think this should fix it. There we go. And nice, we can see our syntax highlighting from here to here. Yeah, so the problem was we didn't have any replies to fetch. And so this was returning null. So if we don't have any replies, I'm now just going to return an empty array. How do I switch between tabs? Control and then arrow keys. All right, so this is pretty nifty. This is pretty much what I wanted. The only thing that would be nice is now, I guess we really want like this next to this. I didn't read your message. You said, oh, you didn't even put a space. I'm not going to read it because you didn't put a space. Proper grammar. Should we have side by side? I feel like the question should be next to this. The chat is interesting tonight. I like it. Oh, I like that emoji. Let's set up a prettier config. This should take 2 seconds. Oh wow, now we have all caps. I feel like I'm getting shouted at. I don't know if I want to shout. I think I like having JS as my config style. So do I like prettier.config or prettier.rc.js? whispers. Wow, now you're whispering at me? Now I can't even hear what you're saying. After using Next.js, I don't want to go back to just regular create React app. I'm liking Next.js as well. It's pretty nice. So with this prettier config, I think I'm actually going to break some of my, Let's see, what was it before? Can I undo? No, it won't even let me undo. Alright, so before I saved this file, it had single quotes. Do you think for creating a software as a service with Next would be unnecessary? No, I think Next is a good choice for a software as a service. I think Create React App is a good choice as well. I think they're both good choices for it. So we set the tab width to 4. I'm going to get rid of that. The tab width, no, I'll say it. The tab width should be 2. So currently I haven't been using single quotes, which is kind of sketchy. I think I probably should be using single quotes. I don't hate double quotes here though. Alright guys, we're gonna do a false. So the tab width is 2, yet this has a tab width of 4. Do I want tab width of 1? Why is it doing that? False, false, trailing comma, ES5. Just got destroyed. Twitch was programming. This is so nice. I agree. So my config is just not working well. Let's undo this. Maybe I just need to restart this so it takes effect. Just subscribed. We got our second subscriber. Thanks for subscribing. Hora JJ. I have no idea how to say your name. Appreciate it. Do you use MongoDB or you just like the shirt? Actually, I kind of use Postgres way more, but I like the shirt and I like Mongo's. Yeah, I like this Mongo shirt basically. I'm more of a Postgres guy, to be honest. Hey, when I saved it, it actually worked. And when I saved over here, it works. Cool. We have a prettier config. Oh, mangoes are the best. So what do we have in chat? Are you guys Mongo fans? Mongo's insanely slow? For what? For just queries? Yeah, I feel like Mongo has changed quite a bit. I haven't used it a ton though. Do you contribute to any open source projects? Not really. We done with that? Do you contribute to any open source projects? So like now and then I will like do some pull requests to a library, but in general there's not like one specific library that I very often help out or like do a lot of stuff with. And I don't really maintain too much for either like for myself as well. There's not like an open source library that I have out. So can we take a break? Can I do a question and answer? So here's the thing. We finished the prettier config. It's gonna take 2 seconds to add the TypeScript TSLint. I don't know why I'm calling TypeScript lint. Then let's do a Q&A. So we need to add the only TSLint that I really feel like adding is the undefined variables. That's the only thing I feel like I'm missing. Core rules. All right, so let's add TSLint. So I guess I want to use it in every single project. Does that mean I should install it globally? I don't think I should. Yeah, TypeScript is very fun once you know it, and it's very unfun before you do. I wonder if there's a better way to install TSLint across all these repositories. Unfun. We'll see. I don't mind if I use incorrect grammar, but if I'm talking with people that use incorrect grammar, you know, it gets difficult. Yeah, I agree. If you start out with JS using SAG type language, yeah. What the heck? Unexpected, no such file or directory. We'll try that again. Which I did. Java helped me out a lot. Yeah, I actually did Java, and I see a lot of similarities. I did a capital. There should be a lowercase d. I mean uppercase d. Since when did you start coding? I think I started around I took a Java course at 16-ish, and then I did web programming around 18-ish. Hello, Happy. Alternate to TypeScript would be a very good gift. Flow. Yeah, I feel like Flow is really the alternative. You could maybe Reason ML, or maybe PureScript. I actually don't know if PureScript has types like that though. All right, so now I'm gonna make a tslint.json. So before I actually add this, let's add a undefined variable. So here, when I do find, I'm gonna do where, and I'm gonna do Bob. Dang it, it showed up. Yeah, I did. Let's do cache. No. So it's catching that this is not defined. It's telling me, did I mean something else? This is kind of what I wanted when I add tslint. And we'll add it anyway. I feel like it's gonna catch some things because I feel like I've seen it places where I'm not getting this caught. Oh, no unused variable. That's different. I feel like there's one where it doesn't catch it, where it is not defined. Okay, I don't know where it is right now. Here we go, no undefined check. Does it really show the error? I feel like it sometimes does it. JK. Alright, we're going to wait on adding tslint because I don't know which rule that I really want to add. tslint is installed if we ever want to add this. Alright guys, we can do, let's do Q&A for 20 minutes-ish. If you guys have enough questions for that. Let me pull up Twitch. I'll close that for now. To do, replace your photo on GitHub, yes. Yeah, I've been meaning to do that. My photo has gotten old. I want to go to this one. Ask away. Alright, let's open and so that will do recursion if I keep that open, and I want to pop you out. I'm doing good. How are you? Happy? You look pretty happy today. So we don't need some of this stuff. Yeah, Q&A time now. You can ask. Hey, View. Did you go to college? I did. I went to UT Dallas. It's a cool little penguin guy. Am I rich? I am not. Are you working right now or self-employed? Right now I am self-employed. How many hours did you put on programming roughly? I feel like, so subtract sleep. I sleep around 9 hours. Subtract how long it takes to eat. Maybe like 2 hours. Maybe 3. Subtract. So what? That's 9, that's 3, that's 12. So there's 12 hours left in the day. Ish. Yeah, I sleep a lot of... I sleep 9 hours a day. Yeah. So, max of 12. I usually go to the gym, subtract 2 hours plus shower with that. That's like 10 hours left. So let's say there's 10 hours left in the day. Ish. So let's say max around 10 hours. So I'd say maybe around 8 to 10 hours, but I don't say I definitely don't code that long. If I'm coding for that long, that would include like walking around and thinking. Any goals? Where do you want to be in like 10 years? I see 2 things that I want to do. Either 1, running my own business, or 2, running my own freelance organization, or like consultancy. Where did you buy this chair? IKEA. I believe it's... I don't know why the name Marcus came. I don't think that's the name of it. Nope, I was wrong. It's called Marcus. You need to sleep for you to have power to turn to sleep. Yeah, I guess. Nice. How are you doing with stuff right now, Vue? Are you currently freelancing? Interesting. When was your last girlfriend? 404 not found, and I do not have one right now. Did you like programming before starting programming, or did you like it after you took grasp of it? I think I liked it right away ish. What's like I have an analytical mind and like for problem solving, so it matched really well with that sort of thing. So I think I liked it right away. But I have some friends that didn't like it right away, but as they did it more, they started to like it more. And as you get into like better at it too. Nice. Congrats, Vue. Oh, you don't like the place you work at? I see you don't follow anyone on Twitch. Do you game at all or watch any streamers? I don't really game at all. I watched a little bit of MTG Arena, which is Magic the Gathering Arena, because I used to play Magic a little bit. But other than that, I don't really play games much, and so I don't watch streamers too often. Like I've watched Ninja a wee bit, because Fortnite. Yeah. For the most part, I don't really play games anymore. I feel like you're the type to play Hearthstone. Yes, you're right. I did. So I played League, then Hearthstone, then I can't remember what I played after that for a little bit, and then I stopped. So how did you find your way to Twitch then? Actually, I did. Let's see. I did a thing 3 years ago where I live streamed myself when I was really young. Well, not really young. Was it 3 years ago? By the way, I think this is longer than 3 years ago because I'm 21 now, and that would mean I did this when I was 18. I think I may have done this when I was 17. So this I actually live stream on Twitch. And so that's actually where I got started on YouTube, and I got started on Twitch. I don't know how I found out about Twitch when I made this, but this is when I was learning Android development, and so I made a video doing Java and Android development and streamed it on Twitch. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, this is actually why I got... So I don't know why I made this video or why I planned on doing this on Twitch in the first place, but it got like 10K views after like a year because I like put it up and I never looked at it again. It was actually a series that I did. I think the first video is really the only one that got like that high of viewership. Oh, it's not going to show me the views. So then I was like, well, this is kind of a crappy quality. I feel like I could do better than that. So let's try doing better than that and see how it goes. What do you usually watch on Twitch, View? Yeah, here and there I have some videos that have a decent amount of views. You guys are Fortnite guys. Rice Gum? Does Rice Gum stream? Haha, you actually don't get rich off YouTube. At least not the level that I'm at. My most viewed YouTube video is a video I ripped off from another site. Nice. Do you have any siblings? Yeah, I have a brother. How do you got to do your lessons on Egghead? Younger brother. So yeah, I did some lessons on Egghead. Is my brother a musclehead? He is not. Someone actually recommended Egghead to me, and after I'd done YouTube for a while, and then I just reached out to the person who does Egghead on Twitch. I mean, not on Twitch, on Twitter. And then basically after that, you do like a video. I think it was like 30 seconds. If you're interested, Egghead instructor. They have this whole free guide, how to be an instructor. Not this one. Is this it? I feel like this might be their old one. I don't know if this is their newest one. I don't know where it is, but they have like their material online of what it means to be an Egghead instructor and how to make the videos. There's one where you can see the equipment. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a streaming schedule? Yeah, I stream every day at 6 p.m. Central Time. I have no idea who Dr. Eggman is. Do you have any advice for someone who is beginning programming? I would recommend consistency. So I would get into like a nice rhythm or routine for like coding. Yeah, I do have some videos on Egghead. I've only done like a few small ones, mainly because I just got busy with other stuff. I was planning on making some more, but I just got busy with stuff. Also, like, the thing with Egghead is they have a super different style that I'm used to. I actually really liked learning this style and trying it. So that was something new to get used to. But it's very short and to the point, and like you kind of like clip out until you just get the main focus, which is kind of interesting. Like, how many hours a day? The only way to learn nowadays is through the docs. I think you have to think of a project and try to building it yourself and learning. I'm not sure how many hours a day. If I was doing it, I would just do it as many hours a day as I possibly could. Like, that would make sense for me. And I agree with you. I think it makes a lot of sense. Pick something you want to build and try building it and learn the tools around how you would set that up. I do not. Egg. And just do research as you are stuck. Yeah. Also, I really like this. We're not going to search Eggman right now because I have no idea what that'll bring up. I think I have it starred. There's this nice repo that I like. I have some random things that are starred. I'm trying to think of this one repo. Build your own. This one I like. So if you need inspiration on things to build, this is like a really fun GitHub repo. Basically, here's a bunch of different things that you can possibly build, and then there are tutorials on how you can build them in different languages and whatnot. There's a ton of stuff too. Can you put the letter P in your search bar? Nope. My car got repoed once. Can you tell me a joke? No. I don't have any jokes. I was expecting Google to tell me one. Can you tell us a story? You know what? I can tell you a story. I don't have a good story, but I can tell you the story of what I did today. So there's this thing called Draft.js, right? And Draft.js is a rich text editor framework for React. Fancy word, basically what it means is like you can add headers, you can bold text, bam. You can italicize it, block quote it, I don't know, you know, all this stuff, right? So Draft.js is using to do this. Well, Saffron, this is my side project, has a bar like that. So like here is a rich text editor. So you can see here are headers. We also have this thing called recipe links. Like maybe you want to create your own orange blossom water. You'd be able to search that and pick it. And now this is a link, right? So this was originally built using Draft.js, right? And what I learned is Draft.js has a very large learning curve. And so I actually just switched it over. Not because of the learning curve. I actually learned how to use it, implemented everything in Saffron with it. I could probably continue using it, but it was getting to the point where the code was overcomplicated. And what we did is today I switched it over to this thing called Slate. And it's, as you can see, very similar, but the internals are way cleaner. What are the docs for Draft.js using? I have no idea. So the way you can find out is clicking on GitHub, and we can click on docs. We can see it's a bunch of markdown files. So that doesn't help us discover what's using it. So let's go to the package.json file and see if we can figure out what it's using for dependencies. Until we find out what it is. Docosaurus. Nope, it doesn't look like Docosaurus. At least it doesn't have the dependency here. Do you think Udemy is a good platform for learning code? I can't really say. I haven't looked through much of Udemy stuff. I only took one Udemy course when I was learning programming. I did this one. And I liked this one when I was learning it, by John Parcell. Or maybe it's Purcell. I haven't tried it for any web development stuff, so I'm not sure about that. It was one of the commit messages, I think. Do I have a dog? No, but I have some pet fish. Yeah, maybe they use Docosaurus. But I have no idea where they put their dependency for it. Curious when the last commit was. Is this still being maintained? Yep, it was committed a day ago. What kind of fish do you have? African cichlids. I also have this little symbol inserter. That's kind of interesting. That looks like a little bit of a bug. So like, I add symbol and it takes me to the new line. It's kind of weird. I'll have to see why it's doing that. A 6.5 out of 10, not bad. Do you have a favorite YouTuber? I like Casey Neistat. Who else do I like? I haven't been watching too much YouTube lately. Can't think of anyone else off the top of my head. Do you rather prefer to do full stack programming or backend or front end, and why? Originally, I think in general I like backend a little bit better, but I like full stack because I can implement like entire features and entire websites that way. So that's kind of why I like being backend or full stack, is because, for example, I can just build out this whole Code Ponder website, both the front end and the back end, if I know both. But I think preference-wise, I think I like back end a little bit better. You went to the lecture at your university. What university do you go to? Symbol/new line. So I actually think... So I was copying the example. I'm not exactly adding a new line in there. I'm doing this one custom command that they do. I think it's on GitHub. Dun 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 dun. Emojis. So symbols is very similar to emojis, so I pretty much just copied that. So see, after they add an emoji, they call move to start of next text, and I think that's what I'm calling. For some reason, it's doing that. Have you heard of the BXJS podcast? I find it very informative. Not really a podcast, it's on YouTube. I haven't. I'll check that out though. University of Maryland, nice. And back end, front end, not very much. Don't have much difference. What are you talking about? Front end and back end are very different. Insert. So yeah, so this thing I think is messing it up. I'm curious. They have in their example over here. I can try their emoji editor. Yeah, they don't have the same problem. We'll have to do some debugging on that later. I mean, so we're using TypeScript on the front and back end, so the language is exactly the same, but you're doing quite different things. I mean, the only thing that I guess is, I mean, you can like abstract out some common algorithms that you use between them. Okay, I'm gonna go punch a monkey. Have a good stream, Ben. I'll be back tomorrow. Alright, see you later, Bant. Alright, guys, and it is been 20 minutes, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the Q&A here, and end the stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Some years ago, when people talked about the difference between back end and front end, it was way bigger. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not as big as it used to be. Have a nice sleep, guys. Thanks for subscribing against Hora J. Good luck with your programming journey. See you guys.